everybody, and welcome to the Scott Show. This is the 4:35 politics show. I wanted to do a little wrap-up before the Sunday morning news hits, and they talk all about what happened for the week of politics. We're going to do it here first. All the news normally starts on Sunday because people go on the news stations, meet the press and face the nation and all this other stuff, and make grandiose claims and ideas, and some of them pan out, but that's the talk for the week. So I figured we would wrap it up all in a lovely little bow on Saturday night. So we are making it happen here on the Scott Show podcast. And folks, the first thing I want to talk about is healthcare. Donald Trump, he took a chainsaw to healthcare with his incredibly terrible signature that everybody can see, but you can't read it. And Donald Trump signed an executive order pretty much cutting every person out of subsidies for health care. Lower income individuals don't get the subsidies for health care anymore. I don't understand what the president is trying to do with this executive order exactly, but he seems to be very proud of it. There's a lot more answers than questions. Or a lot more questions than answers. I wish there were any answers whatsoever. So, folks, what I would assume will happen is Congress will argue about it. Personally, I think the president is being smart at the same time he's not. And the reason I say that is he's throwing it on Congress to do something. And if they don't do something, then they get the blame. It's not the president that gets the blame. He just says, hey, this needs to change, fix it or else. So, hopefully we'll see what happens with that. The midterms are coming up. It is a strong group of Democratic senators that are looking at re-election. There's not a lot of Republicans running. So to win enough seats in the Senate might be difficult. And in the House, it's going to be even harder. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens when you have the House and Senate in a midterm election. But with Trump as president, anything is possible at this point. And so I'm kind of just, wondering what 2018 is going to look like. And then moving on to 2020, if we have this president for 8 years, God only knows what the country will look like, if there will even be a country, because... Great segue, I know. There were comments from Senator Bob Corker from Tennessee saying that Trump is going to lead us down World War III, talking about North Korea and how Kim Jong-un is trying nuclear weapons and trying to shake his fist at America, say, America can't fight us because we have nuclear weapons, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm hearing issues from North Korea that there are problems with their nuclear site. So we'll just see what happens from there. I'm interested to see what happens, but I think what's going to happen is North Korea is going to screw up. And they're going to launch something into Japan, and it's going to hit Japan. Or they're going to launch something into Guam, and it's going to, they're going to make a mistake. That's my feeling on it. However, according to North Korea, they can do nothing wrong. So, except they can't take care of prisoners, apparently. So that's what I'm looking at as far as that. But Bob Corker came and said that Trump was going to do World War III and all this other stuff. There are bills on the floor right now of the House and Senate that limit the president and what he can do when it comes to any military action. And it's very interesting to see that. I want to see further what happens. If it goes anywhere or whatever. And then that will be people questioning the president. Now, there was another thing that happened. Lots of great segues. with Steve Bannon talking about the worst thing that could happen to Donald Trump is the 25th Amendment. The 25th Amendment would mean that the Senate, or that the Cabinet and Vice President would say that the President is not able to fulfill his time as President and would need to go away. It is actually the 25th Amendment. So, I don't think that's going to happen, but if he keeps ticking off a lot of people and making the wrong decisions, apparently, he can always be the president of the Virgin Islands. Whatever works. He is already the president of the Virgin Islands since it's a U.S. territory, but he doesn't think he is, or at least he likes to talk to himself in the mirror. So, oh well. Now, 2020 is going to be very interesting. There have already been a few questions of who's going to run for office. Is Bernie Sanders going to run? Is Hillary Clinton going to take another run? I've heard both are not planning on it. Is Elizabeth Warren going to run? I heard the name Chris Murphy. I have heard the name Cory Booker from New Jersey. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens when you go right down the line and see who's in line to be president. But please, just don't let it be another celebrity. We don't need Kanye West in the White House. I don't even think I like him in the Kardashian house, and I don't give a crap about the Kardashians. So, folks, if you're looking at who to support for 2020, please make it somebody that you can support wholeheartedly and throw your whole self into it. Yeah, and don't think that it would just be funny or cool, because it's not gonna be. Last little piece of info I have for you guys today. There's always a lot of stuff. I could talk about the Trump-Iran nuclear deal, which could be another potential huge starting point for Trump to get a lot of heat. He's going to, really work on Iran and the issue with nuclear power. But I want to talk about what happened with John Kelly, General John Kelly, now the White House Chief of Staff. He went to the press briefing room and told the press that he wasn't getting fired today. He wasn't exactly quitting today. And he wasn't firing anybody else today. And that the fake news that they created was absolutely fake news. And that they need more reliable sources. Now, while I agree that the media does need more reliable sources and to get away from fake news, and I'm tired of all the fake news, I also thought it was really funny because, John Kelly laid it all on the line, and he's a straight shooter, so I gotta give him, big props for that. The guy knows what he's talking about. And I think that he has a great respect to his country. In fact, I'm going to give him a thumbs up tomorrow. I normally don't announce this, but I will. I'll give him a thumbs up tomorrow. Just because he has a great respect for this country and he wants to serve it. So there you go. Now, our President Donald Trump was at the some value council today. And he was the first sitting president to sit in front of this council. It's also part of the Parents Children's Council and whatever else, the Family Research Council or whatever they want to call themselves. And he was, like I said, the first sitting president there. They are against a lot of things that Democrats would hold as victories when Obama was there, including gay rights and abortion and just a lot of other things. So, it was quite interesting to see that, and I know the news will be all over that. But he did speak in front of this group. Like I said, he's the first sitting president, and it's a very conservative group. But one thing that struck me funny is he said, "We will say Merry Christmas again." And personally, I love saying Merry Christmas to people. I'll say Happy Holidays sometimes. But for me, it is Merry Christmas. So, that's just a little bit on the politics side. We're going to be talking more politics here soon on the 435 Politics Show. Looks like we're going to be having some guests here soon. Hopefully we can get Mr. Joel back for another round of talking about awesome stuff with politics. And other than that, we are good to go. So here's the little... I'm going to try to sell all the good stuff that we're doing. We are on Facebook, SoundCloud, Twitter, all over the place. I do have to say that we will have some new stuff for sale soon on the 102550.net site, including t-shirts, which will be super awesome, and stickers, hats, all that other good stuff. We're looking at making up our own little line of stuff, especially for our running team, which will be starting in January with Syracuse, New York. By the way, shout out to Syracuse for beating Clemson. I'll talk about that on my sports channel. But I do want to thank everybody for paying attention. Check us out, tinyurl.com/102550, and you can see us there. You guys have a great rest of your day.